Guys, I'm sad. I'm sad tonight because this is the last time that me and Aditya are going to be doing a show live together on the in the same room at least. Until we meet each other again, of course. Until we meet each other again. But today's the fan Q&A session is a good way to end off his time in Cape Town. And last show with Cricket Fanatics magazine with regards to us being in person. Obviously, he's going to be back on the normal streams again as per usual when he gets back to India. But this is an opportunity for you guys to obviously get involved with the fan Q&A session. Now, I know that we are again earlier by an hour. The reason is, of course, because we're going out for supper tonight. So I obviously wanted to spend some time with Aditya tonight so that we can get everything in. So I'm also trying to pack everything in and the load sharing schedule and everything all in once. It's crazy. So let's get into it. I think it's going to be I hope it's going to be an awesome show. It's the last one with Aditya in person. So let's get straight into it. Let's get into the Q&A session and let's enjoy this as best as possible. But before we get going, before we get started, smash the like button, please, comment and share and do all of those things, please. It's very important that you guys do so. That's how we can continuously produce content for you guys and continuously push forward and try to give you as many videos as possible, trying to promote South African cricket, etc., all of those type of things. But smash the like button. You can become a patron today as well. It's very important that you do so too, because that's how you help us promote South African cricket, and you can also have your say with becoming part of our community. So please get involved with that. And also go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all updates. I've also put a link in the description for the PayPal if you guys want to get involved with that too. You guys can give donations there as well. But without further ado, oh yes, and download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Link on the screen as well as in the description. So without further ado, guys, let's get straight into today's video. Looking forward to answering your questions. Yeah, let's do it. A very good evening and welcome to Cricket Fanatics magazine. This is your daily show, your fan Q&A session. I'm your host, Khalid, and this is my co-host, Aditya. And this is the final show that we'll be doing in person together. So like I said in the intro. So it is a bit of a sad day, but also happiness because we're going to enjoy our night tonight. We're going to have some fun tonight and enjoy the last moments that we're going to be spending together year over year. But we'll still be maintaining the relationship. Obviously, we're going to try and build so many things around the world that we want to do. There's so many things in the works that we are trying to get over the line. So please support us, guys. But this is the fan Q&A session. What happens over here is we go on Instagram. You guys have asked us questions. We start off with the questions on Instagram. And then we move on. And then we move on to the questions that you guys give in the live chat. So obviously on Facebook, as well as on Instagram, please get involved with the questions, but wait for your live chat. The things that you guys say in the live chat, let us first answer the questions that are on Instagram. And the first question is a weird question from Modi Akudas, and he asked, is Devil Brevis gay? Which is a weird question to ask us. I mean, I'm sure you can just drop him a DM and maybe ask him. I don't know if he will respond to you, but I don't think so. He does have a girlfriend that I know of. We've spoken about her on the channel before, so I highly doubt it. So let's move on from that one.
Just check his Instagram.
Yeah, check his Instagram. You'll see it over there. Get your questions in, guys, later on. We're first going to start off with how do I pronounce this, Aditya? You can actually help me over here.
This guy?
No, this guy here. GC
Inasusibo.
Inasusibo, I don't know how to pronounce it. But he wanted to ask us, I'm worried here about the World Cup. Do you think we can make it? And how do we make it? So I think it's pretty simple. I think there's only one answer for that. And I think that's probably going to have to be the qualifiers.
Or they win 6 out of 8 games, right?
Yeah.
Three against England, 3
Yeah.
against India, and 1 against to the Netherlands and
I think
Zimbabwe.
it's in Netherlands and Zimbabwe. I think it's the
Yeah.
other one. So that's the way we will obviously have to do it. That's not very easy route. I don't think we'll be facing the same type of India than we did the last time. I don't think will be as a walkover. I think India will have a lot of time under their belt. They will have a lot of game time under their belt, and they'll be in a different level completely. So that's something that's going to be interesting. With regards to England, we never know. We're going to have to obviously see in this particular series how we do. This will be a good indication of where we at this India tour.
The thing is that if you think about it from a numbers point of view, South Africa have to win at least 2 games against England and at least 2 games against India, which means that they need to win both series and then they need to win the other 2, which they should.
Yeah,
but we're basically talking about winning at least 4 out of 6 against England and India, which is quite a tough ask.
It's a very tough ask. And otherwise, I'll just see it as us playing the qualifiers and winning it. I expect us to at least win the qualifiers. I mean, that should be high on the list. I mean, you can't. I think, will it be the first time in history that a team would have played the qualifiers and actually gone on to win a World Cup if we do eventually win it? I mean, I don't think I've heard of a situation like that before.
I think it's just the fact that if South Africa has to play a qualifier, it's a bit of a hit on the ego, and that should never happen given the rich cricketing history in this country.
Of course, I agree with you 100%. It is embarrassing and it's very difficult to talk about because we had time to really build a team for the 2023 World Cup. It should have been, like I said in previous shows, I spoke to Boucher on the day that he was elected as the new coach, and I asked him specifically. I said 2023 should be the goal. It's just about preparing the best team and growing and finding the new youngsters and a team unit going forward. And it seemed like that was the case. But as time went by, as we lost more games, as we got slaughtered by England, and then we lost quite a few ODIs as well. We've lost to Pakistan, we've lost to Bangladesh, we've lost to we've lost to U61 in that. No, that was before. But we haven't been in the best of form when it comes to the 2023 World Cup. And after what happened when it comes to ODI cricket, and after what happened in the 2019 World Cup, I really thought there was going to be a complete reset and a rebuild to go forward and plan for that 2023 World Cup. Yeah. That is clearly not the case. So we kind of in limbo with the ODI team. I still think that they should actually just say right now that we're going to prepare for the 2027 World Cup. This is going to be a stepping stone towards that. Put a young team together that we can grow together and learn from each other. Obviously, there's going to be some spots available that you can maybe swap out, and there should be backups in every position, like we've said before. But I think that we should go for that one and the next, and perhaps we can win this Test Championship. I think we're in a good position. If we can focus, I think our Test cricket is no problem in my eyes. I think we're growing a nice identity within our team when it comes to Test cricket. Yeah. But in the white ball arena, we are struggling, and particularly in the ODI arena, which is obviously seen as the bigger white ball format out of the two. I mean, South Africans have been wanting to win a 50-over World Cup since forever, and it still hasn't happened. So we're kind of in limbo.
The thing is, when we say that we want to build for the 2027 World Cup, that's obviously great, and it's important to plan for the future. But at the same time, we can't forget the present.
Yeah.
Because in 2019, after that World Cup, those conversations that's built for 2023. But now we're in 22, and the fact that we're talking about 2027 almost has that hint of resignation that 2023 is going to be a gone case. And my problem with that generally is that assuming you get to 2026 and your team is in really bad shape, you lose 3 series on the go or something like that, and you have the 2027 World Cup coming up. What do you say then? Shall we plan for 2031? So I think that's there has to be a balance between succeeding in the present and planning for the future. Because we can't always be planning for this future. At some point, the future does arrive, and we have to sort of make sure that South Africa is in the best shape to give the 2023 World Cup a good shot.
Mm-hmm.
It can't always be that, because if and we also have to reflect on the fact that if, let's say, 2019 went poorly as it did, what's how much progress has been made between 2019 and 2022, which we're in right now.
Mm-hmm. But I'm sitting here with the situation now, and I'm saying, I mean, if they forfeited the series against Australia,
Yeah.
I mean, it just shows the intent, in my opinion. And now with the new DOC in, with a whole new system in,
Yeah.
why not just reset and just move forward with a proper plan for the next World Cup? I mean, funny enough, it might be the way they go, because when I heard Enoch speak in his press conference, he specifically mentioned 2027. Now, because it was in South Africa, obviously that's maybe the reason why they're saying it, and then putting emphasis on winning that one. But there was nothing mentioned about the 2023 World Cup, if I can remember correctly. There wasn't much. He said, yes, there's a World Cup coming now, and there's a 2023, but the 2027 one is their eyes on that. If he can last that long in the job, that is going to obviously be the case. If he does a good job over there, because I hope that he does put those structures in place now, so that we can grow towards that. Because I don't like the uncertainty with our direction that we're going.
Yeah.
It almost seems like we're just picking what is there in form right now, trying to put a team together, thinking about the present and not thinking about 5 steps ahead towards the future. I mean, I feel that every other international team that is on the top of their game think about the future. Australia, the way they plan for World Cups is brilliant. Every single time they compete in every World Cup that they play. So whatever they're doing, we need to kind of mimic what they do. They already put pins in players ahead of time, and I don't feel we do the same. I think we only give youngsters an opportunity if they are completely dominating. And even so, what Diego Brevas has done, for example, we still don't give the guy a chance, even though he has been dominating, or not dominating, but he played really well in the IPL.
Yeah.
So what do you need to do as a youngster to get a chance in the national setup? That's the question. And I think we need to find a proper pathway towards finding a structure on rebuilding, where we can build a championship team and recycle, go for the next, and continue a cycle. I don't want to just chop and change things all the time. It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Okay, so let's get into the main topic. So I've obviously made it a little bit different on the title, because you can't obviously fit the entire question on a thumbnail. So the actual question that was asked us was from Justin FX Shansai. He says, I think SA should have an experiment with captaincy and give it to Markram. Maybe it brings the best out of him. Now, I don't agree with that. I think Markram needs to be in form. And then if he's in form and doing well and he's kind of in his element, then we can maybe perhaps think about making him a captain.
Yeah.
Experimenting with the captain right now, so close to the World Cup, I don't know. Me personally, I said we needed to have some vision. Like I said, with the 2023, 2027, all of these things, we needed to have some vision and thinking, who is the next best in line to be captain for the next 3-4 years? That should have been the mindset, and then make him vice captain. That's what I always think of, vice captain and captain like that. For me, the captain is the main guy, and the vice captain learns from the captain. And obviously, some of his ideas they'll share together in a team. But it would be much better for me if I have a captain there that's there for 4 years, and and the next captain in line is behind him and learning from him. But maybe they don't want to do that, because maybe there's another person that's maybe floating around that might come into the Proteas setup soon that could be captain. So that's maybe also what they're thinking of. And within the setup that they pick, within the squad that they've picked, they decided to select whatever captain is available. Currently, Muller is the captain for the T20 arena. And I think he should keep it into this World Cup, seeing that Timba Bavuma is not available right now. He's injured, hasn't been with the team. He's not going to be with the team in one of the most important series that we're going to play right now out because of injury. So for me, personally, I think to keep continuity, to keep consistency, if Timba Bavuma is still trying to get fit before the warm-up games, or still trying to get fit before the first game of the World Cup, then I think we need to decide what we're going to do. So I think they can have some sort of gauge to see how Timba Bavuma's recovery is doing, to see that. But I think to bring Timba back into the setup after the players are going to have a series with David Miller, it might be a little bit disruptive him coming back, because he doesn't come back just as a captain. He comes back as a top order batter. And if someone else comes into, if someone else performs in this particular series as a top order batter, they should keep their place, shouldn't they? Or what is your thoughts on the captaincy?
That's going to be a conundrum for South Africa, right? Like if you have a really successful opening combination
Yeah.
against England, and then Timber comes back, it's certainly going to generate a lot of debate, and I don't know whether that's healthy for the team or not, because we all know what the social media reaction is to Timber's presence in the team, is at least is better, So that's, I think it's going to be a challenge for South Africa, no doubt about it.
Captaincy is always going to be a major discussion for all of us. So let's get into your comment section over here, what you guys are saying. Werner saying he feels like he's missing out. I wish you were here too, Werner, man. Still someone I need to meet in person. Let's go, boys, says Ray PMB9. Ikson is a red. Yes, Ikson is a red, boys. So happy about that one. I hope that he stays fit, and yeah, there's no health issues that creep up with him throughout the season. I think that we have enough midfielders to be able to rotate for Manchester United, so that's a good thing. Very excited. The signings are coming in now. I just hope that we get that big one over the line, which is Frenkie de Jong. If we don't get Frenkie, I don't know what we're going to do. Harshit saying, it's funny how almost everyone in the top six has been a captain once. De Kock, Markram, Rassi has been vice captain, Timber, Miller, Klaassen, and even Maharaj. Damn, 7 skippers in the side. Wow. It's actually true.
It's actually, but but in reality, if you think about it, it's actually a good thing. You look at the Chennai Super Kings. They've got, in the IPL, they've got a similar sort of team composition, right? Because their preference has been to have multiple international captains in the same team, because their philosophy is that experience helps. But with South Africa, you would want that experience to sort of translate into performance, particularly under pressure.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's a great point, Harsha.
But that also shows the inconsistency with South Africa.
Yes.
and how we don't make clear decisions. Like, you had Klaassen captain the team before when Timber was absent.
Yes.
Why isn't he vice captain? Were they maybe not 100% sure that he's going to be a starter in every single team? Is that maybe perhaps why they didn't think of it? So they just picked the next first starter in that team, which is obviously David Miller. I think that's maybe the process that they went with.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, the Cock's not going to want it again, so that we know that we can't offer team. Markram, not captain in T20s, ODIs, didn't go so well for him. He was very young when he took over the captaincy. I think they threw him under the bus there, really. It was his first series against the best team in the world at the time. It was a tough series for him to be able to lead the team. Rassi, vice captain, yes. I thought that Rassi was a good shot to maybe replace Timber as captain, because he is a stay safe. But they decided to go with Miller, despite Miller not necessarily having
captaincy experience.
Captaincy experience, maybe for South Africa or domestically for the Dolphins. Keshav is his captain every time they play domestic cricket. So it's crazy that they went with David Miller. It is a bit strange that they went with David Miller, but I don't mind it necessarily, because I do feel that he can motivate the guys. He is the most informed player currently, and he has really grown as a person, maturity with regards to his playing style, etc. But it was strange. I think they should have maybe thought about someone else. But I'm not necessarily disappointed that Miller is captain currently. Maybe Miller should be captain, says OP Blitz. They've been inconsistent in the ODIs. Lost to Bangladesh, Pakistan, drew to Ireland, but have thrashed India 3-0, Australia 3-0 also. So not doom and gloom. Yeah, but I mean, we have to also look at where those teams were at the time that we beat, I think, as well, don't you think? Australia at the time, I think when we beat Australia, that was away, I think it was, a while back. And yeah, I think Australia were in a very different space at that time.
Look, I think, I mean, are you talking about the Australia series win in 2018?
That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, if that's the case, but that was a different team. I don't think we
Yeah.
can make that comparison.
When did
Also,
we play Australia again? We didn't play Australia during COVID because they pulled out.
no,
So I remember us beating them away. Remember when we went away
yeah,
and we beat them
it
there?
was in 2018. But
Yeah.
then when Faf was the captain at the time, the makeup of the team was different. Dale Steyn was in that team as well. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I agree with that comparison there. But look, I think that's a problem, right? Like you thrash India 3-0, which is great. You don't, but then losing to Bangladesh in a home series is not acceptable, because that's when you start having problems, right? Like you find a method that works against India, which is a leading ODI team. Sure, the result didn't go their way, but it's still a good, very good ODI team. And then you lose, so you found a method there, but then your execution goes wrong against Bangladesh, which is a problem. And losing a game to Ireland is also a problem, because I think these are games that, unless Ireland plays like really spectacularly, and you said that what, they've earned that victory, that's great, no problem there. But I think if generally, I'm not sure if South Africa should be losing to Ireland.
We shouldn't be. That's the thing. I mean, we expect to compete with the best every single time we play. I mean, you can't. Ashley's right. You can't have this inconsistency all the time. If we lose 3-0 in the England Test series, we'll drop to 50%. So that will be number 1 to 7 or so. Just saying. Thought about it the other day. Hope we compete. Yeah, I mean the Test Championship is tricky because you a couple of one loss or one bad series and you drop. I mean, it's dependable also on how long how big the series is. It's a 5-match series, 4-match, 3-match series, etc. They've weighted it out to make it kind of almost equal, but still, I still feel that there's a different type of pressure in a 3-match series to a 2-match series to a 1-match series to a 5-match series. There's obviously different pressures. Okay, so Lorenzo's still talking about the captaincy. He says, as a captain in one, a captain in is one thing you can't experiment with. It will cause instability, which we can't afford. It's like chopping and changing managers in a business, which is definitely a recipe for failure. And what do people do in businesses? They have someone kind of as the second in charge, so that if they aren't available, there is someone that still has authority. Now, with South Africa, what I don't understand is in the T20 setup, I automatically thought that Keshav would be vice captain in the T20s if he's taking the ODI, if he's ODI captain and vice captain of the ODIs. I thought that Keshav would take the T20 captaincy, but because I don't think they're going to play 2 spinners in Australia, they're considering maybe then they gave someone else a chance. But then I think it should have gone to someone that has already was captain, like i.e. maybe someone like Heinrich Klaassen. But like I've said before, he might not have his place cemented in that team. When I think that currently with his form, he should be one of the first players in that team sheet in that middle order. But I agree with Lorenzo 100%. You saying?
Yeah, I mean, look, there has to be a thought process before you appoint the captain. You can't start thinking after you appointed the captain. So there has to be rigorous criteria implemented. Before that appointment, and I completely agree. I think chopping and changing is recipe for disaster, and certainly in cricket where you fail a lot more than you succeed. So it's important to ensure that you continue to give the love even to players who aren't doing particularly well.
Okay, Tex and Aiden doesn't perform in ODIs. Janneman should be the captain post 2023. Janneman, I've never necessarily seen qualities in Janneman captaincy wise. He's quite a quiet guy within himself, does his thing. His brother has more captaincy qualities, I feel, maybe, but that's because he's the older brother of Janneman. So, I mean, he comes with that territory. But for me personally, I don't know if Janneman is the right man for captaincy role going forward. I mean, we have to look at what we have in domestic scene. We have plenty of former captains, S19 captains, etc. in the team. Like Bryce Parsons is there available. Got Daniel Smith still coming through the system. You've got the likes of Reynard van Tondo, who was under 19 captain. He could possibly take over captaincy in the future as well if he starts performing and putting on the runs. he's starting to become more and more an all-format player. He's trying to expand his game a lot more and get more rounded within his performances. So that could also be an option down the line. You've got the likes of Tony Duzorzi, who was captain before, Zubair Hamza, that's captain before. There's loads of players that are coming through that are leaders, the natural leaders. I mean, I don't necessarily think that Janneman would be the first in line, in my opinion, as a captain. I think he's an excellent player and he provides an amazing outlet for South Africa and attacking style of cricket that I've been hoping that he's going to expand on, because currently he's found a way to bat deep and survive and be the main guy within the top from the top of the order, batting right down. And I love that about him. Yeah. Perhaps he will change and become more attacking as his game evolves. But yeah, I think Janneman needs to focus on his game and be the batter that he is. I don't think putting captaincy on him right now, wouldn't want to take that risk, because I don't know. Not everybody takes to captaincy the same way like others do. Some people love the pressure and it makes them better players. Sometimes it can reduce the way you play as a player. So you're gonna have to wait and see for that. What's your thoughts on Janneman?
Yeah, look, I think that's way too left field for me, because you have to look at certain attributes in a captain. For example, first of all, their individual performance has to warrant a place in the team. Then there are certain things like how does this potential captaincy candidate perform under pressure? Does he have good people management skills? What is his tactical acumen like? These qualities are important. And you look at, for example, England, England post Andrew Strauss. Alistair Cook, because of the weight of his runs, he was appointed as captain, but he didn't have a number of other attributes, like tactical acumen, for example, or the ability to really galvanize and motivate his troops to do well. That didn't really happen under his tenure. But you look at England under Andrew Strauss, or now under Ben Stokes, and it's a different story. So you do need to have that combination of attributes in order to really succeed as a captain. And at the moment, I don't think we have enough information about Janneman's qualities in terms of people management and so on.
Yeah, like I haven't seen him captain. I haven't seen him captain yet. Yeah. Aditya, did you try some wines from Stellenbosch Sherry?
No, I don't drink alcohol, Dex. Sorry, bud. But I have to say, I do enjoy the scenery, though.
I think if Markram can get his mojo, you will be a captain. But he's another anchor, another Darren Cullinan situation. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Aiden in ODIs, really. I've tried to wrap my head around it. I've tried to analyze it and try to think about why he's not performing in ODIs. It just doesn't make sense to me. Klaasen also have great. Yeah, I said that earlier on. I think Klaasen should have been the candidate for that. But I think the uncertainty about whether he's going to be a mainstay in the team every single time they pick 11, I think that maybe played its part in the decision.
But Klaasen has great leadership capabilities. Like, I think he manages teams well, but I think tactically there's still a few question marks there, right? Particularly if you think about that series against Pakistan where he didn't bowl Andile at all. You think about certain situations like that, and you feel like, is the tactical acumen there? That obviously that's not to say that he's the finished product, or anyone is the finished product as captain, but you have to see where some of these decisions come from.
It was in SA and they had a full sleep before COVID. I can't remember that series.
They won like 5-0.
No, but they're saying it's right before COVID. I remember.
Oh, okay, yeah. When Janneman hit 130 odd in Classic.
Oh yes, when Calvin Reina made his. Oh, yes, I remember. Oh, when they played Boran Park and that. Oh, that series.
Yeah.
Ah, man, that was, for me, that was an experimental series, to be fair.
Yeah, I don't know how much of it was.
Yeah.
It was a hardcore.
Yeah, I remember that. I'm sorry, I actually forgot about that completely. Um, cool. Klassen lost the T20 series against Pakistan, both home and away. Not good captain. There we go. That's what he's talking about. There you go, teacher. What you talking
Yes.
about?
See again, yeah, they did lose the series under his captaincy, but I won't say that he's not a good captain. My point there was that he's able to galvanize his troops, but I'm not entirely sure about the way he manages his bowlers. I think there's room for improvement there. So that's all I'm saying. Like personally, I think in the recent past, if like post Graham Smith era, I'm not sure if anyone's managed bowlers the way Faf has.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, yeah,
he's.
that reminding me. Yeah, it's a 1-3. I remember that now. I was actually at the game. It's too much stuff that I watched.
I mean, I was in Somalia at the time, so I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
But I did read in cricket, I guess.
Yeah. I was at the game at Warren Park, so I
Yeah.
don't know. Understand why I forgot that completely. It's crazy. Pouch was appointed and thrashed Australia 3-0 in SA class, and Milan scored
Yes.
hundreds. Yeah, I remember that. We have to have a captain who leads from the front. Um,
Yeah, I suppose that, but I think that's a general attribute for any captain.
yeah,
You have to lead from front.
yeah. English guys are going to thrash us this season.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. I think South Africa have a very good test team that they're growing, building there, and I hope they give Ryan Littleton a permanent spot in that team. I really think that there's a slot available for him to cement and make his own. So for me, I want to see him back into that setup.
Mhm.
Um, Also, when Miller was the skip in 2019 versus Pakistan, he won the series and was in top form in that. Won the man of the series, led from the front. Lorenzo also Marcus Ackerman's another guy.
Yeah.
Captaincy credentials. Brewer should be captain. Brewer is too much of a prankster to be captain. Brevis is excellent, lovely guy. But I mean, even him, I mean, he wasn't captain in the World Cup. They picked fuck, Van Heerden as captain, and they also had Daniel Smith as captain even before that. So yeah, so I don't think that George Van Heerden, that's the first name. So like yeah, so that's I don't know if Devat is the right man for captaincy. Maybe he also needs to just be free and
But
just
he's also young.
and he's also
So
very young.
young.
We can't let him also. I know maybe Texas is being tongue in cheek over here. Making Yanama basketball more hurt, he can learn from a lot from Timber, but it can hurt. I feel you giving him that role, it could put pressure on him. I think even the vice captaincy role is a lot of pressure to be put on a guy because he's now focusing on other things. He's not just focusing on going out there and performing. He's also thinking about now tactically about the team and all of those type of things. And we don't have Timber currently.
But it also adds confusion, right?
Yeah.
Because Keshav was appointed vice captain, and then
Yeah.
we're talking about
Yeah.
7 captains in the same
Yeah.
team, and now we're talking about Yaneman. So I mean, Lorenzo, that's I think if Yaneman was
11 full of captains, right?
if Yaneman was a certainty in the team, and he was always going to play. There's no question that he could be in consideration, but I'm not sure that now is the time to make Yaneman captain, because you do have to make your place in the 11, and his performance is warranted, but
Yeah.
there's just not enough space in the team right now.
Khalid, why is CSA appointed AB captain after Graham Smith?
Yeah, I think that was a mistake.
I also do.
That was a mistake, and if you look at Paddy Upton's recommendation at the time in 2014, he had actually recommended that Faf be captain. This was way back in 2014. And also, after Graham, they made Hashim Amla captain.
Hashim
They didn't
Amla.
make AB captain directly. But either way, I agreed with Paddy Upton's recommendation there, because if you think about, sure, Hash and AB were played more than 100 Test matches, and there's certainly the experienced pros in the team. And Faf at that point had played 20 Test matches, and he was averaging over 51. So it's not like the performances weren't there. but he was the younger guy in the team, so that's why he probably was not considered as captain, um, which was obviously a mistake because I think that 2 year period where there was so much uncertainty in the team and that rebuilding phase post Graham Smith had started, I think that phase could have been avoided if Faf was appointed captain.
Keithan says Aiden becoming captain probably will add patience to his game, which is the only ingredient that is needed in his arsenal for him to become a top batter. I don't think that patience is what he needs. I think he just needs to get over the mark more than once in a row. Like get a couple of 50s under his belt in ODI cricket and everything changes. The patience, I think it's decision making at the crease.
Yeah.
His decision making when he's when he's starting to see the ball. Perhaps these patience actually, if I think about it a little bit more, because he sometimes does seem to play maybe one extra shot too many when he doesn't need to, and then he goes out and actually nicks off. But I think it's more about such a shot selection than anything else.
But if you think about him, if you think about his test game, he has plenty of patience
Yeah.
because he can bat
Yeah,
at
yeah.
strike rates of 40 and 50.
That's true.
So technically, it's not patient. He has the patience to be able to do it. But like I've said about Rohit Sharma, who I've compared with Aiden a lot, it's shot selection. It's finding a template. See, he's an opening batter, right? Aiden is an opening batter. He has the luxury of being able to form a template, whereas the rest of the team has to play to the situation. So I think that's where Aiden sort of, he's not been able to figure that out yet, because he can hit, like, when I look at that series against Pakistan. I remember him hitting Hassan Ali for the most imperious six over mid wicket, and I tweeted at the time that this has to be the best shot of 2021. And then he gets out like 3 balls later. So I think that's what the problem is, right?
Yeah.
Because it's
Spot on.
doing the wrong thing at the wrong time. Because Aiden scoring 150 can take South Africa to 350. It's just that. And even if he scores 150 of 120 balls, that's perfectly fine. No problem.
So 100% I agree with you with regards to Aiden, because I mean, it's just he seems to make the wrong decisions, and finding a template and an understanding from the coaches and the people above him on where they see him and what his role is in the team.
Yeah.
I think that's lacking. There's not a good enough pathway or messaging there with regards to that. Sorry, I'm going to read this one. Suraj says captain material guys are Tony Desori, Aiden, Malcolm van Toon, Bryce Parsons. I've mentioned them. I don't know about Tristan Stubbs, David Brevis, maybe. I don't think about David Murphy. Yes, Daniel Smith. I've mentioned those names already, so I'm glad to see that you've mentioned some of the names that I've mentioned.
But listen, all these guys have to be in the 11, right? It's just that they have to earn the stripes in the 11, because you can't always have a Graham Smith sort of situation where you're 22 and you're appointed captain without having really proved your mettle on a cricket field. So sure, he did well after that, but if Graham Smith had not performed the way he did after he was appointed captain, there would have been serious trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Aiden is the perfect candidate on paper, thinking about it and his history and his ability and personality and everything that he has. It's just the form. And I don't think picking a player out of form as a captain is a smart move.
Not at all.
So for me personally, I think he needs to first make himself worthy for that captaincy role before we can actually put him out there as the captain. Some Makanya apparently is also a captain material. Khalid, bro, your ODI 11 versus England first ODI. Okay, so Yanaman, Kwani as my opening pair. Rassi at 3. 4, I'll go with David. 5, I'll go with Heinrich. 6, I'll go with Oh, 6 is a difficult one. Who am I missing? Oh shit, Aiden. So okay, so one for me is
Yanaman,
Yanaman, Kwani, Rassi, Aiden,
Aiden, David.
David, Klaassen for me, top six. Seven for me, currently, because I would have liked to see um,
Pretorius.
Pretorius and Andile play together as a seven and eight, but but it's difficult to fit them both in. So I'd go Pretorius maybe at seven between him and Andile for seven, and then eight I'll go with. In ODI cricket, it's tough now with the spinning options because it's either you go with Keshav or you drop Keshav. Keshav is the captain, so it has to be Keshav at eight because he's currently the captain. That's the only reason I'm picking him. For yes, he does provide a lot in ODI cricket, but I think that I like the X factor of Shamsi. Then I'll go with so eight is Keshav. Nine will be Cage. Okay, Cage is not available now, so for me it's Lungi, Anrich, and then Shamsi. That should be the 11 for me. I'm playing two spinners is not necessarily what I want to go with, but I think we're kind of forced into doing that currently with this ODI setup. I mean, yes, I would love to see some of the younger guys play, etc. But I think that's our best 11 currently.
I mean, I think the base department is lacking a little bit.
Yeah,
because you have.
I'd love to fit both Dwayne and Andile in the team.
But see, the thing is that look, Andile and Dwayne are they're good, but I think we're talking about series like 140 plus kind of pace, and you only have Andrik as your X factor bowler. You don't like Lungi is not bowling those speeds anymore, and I'm not sure Andile or Dwayne can be those bowlers either. So I feel like that pace department is probably
the pace department is
a bit vulnerable.
Yeah, that is a bit of a worry. That's why I'm really waiting for some all-rounders to step up to the other pace.
But didn't Boucher talk about Gerald Coetzee being a part of the group now?
Yeah, he did speak about Gerald Coetzee could also possibly be an option. Really needs to improve his batting though, I feel. Khalid, brother, Vision Saffers county performances like Lewis deployed, right, and Nicholton. Great performances, doing well.
Yeah.
I just don't rate county cricket as highly as everybody else does. I think people hype it up a little bit too much. I don't think their bowlers are as high of a standard as they make it out to be because it's for me, it's so dense. It's so diluted because they have so many teams. So for them to have 5, 6 world-class bowlers in every single team, it's hard to do that. There's going to be a couple that they're going to target. And if you look at a lot of the South Africans that have gone there that I've spoken to, like Ashwell Prince says it so many times. He said, I went there, retired, and I went in and scored and I became a legend. He became a legend in county cricket. I mean, you can see what Simon Holm is doing, what Keshav does when he goes there. A couple of games, 30 wickets. Okay, look what Simon Holm does, 4 games, 30 wickets. Like, it's crazy how they perform. And we look at Vian Lubbers hitting a double century over there on a flat wicket as well. So you also need to look at the performances, but not only look at the scorecard. Try to find out what the conditions were. Try to find out what the match situation was when they were scoring their runs. Try to look at it a little bit more in depth when you're analyzing stats, etc.
Yeah, but also that you have to think about the pitches there, right? And a lot of them tend to be bowler friendly.
Yeah.
So you're not really challenged by pace, but you're challenged by movement. That's a separate issue altogether.
Hardy, practically one of Riza or Zondo needs to play. Would you pick? I personally go with Zondo. I think Zondo. I actually would go with. I understand why you'd go with Zondo. Actually, it's actually the only spot that's actually available is Zondo's positioning in a way.
Yeah.
That 5, 6, anywhere there they're gonna play him because I don't think that Riza's better than our top 4 currently. Zondo's not better than our top 5, 6 currently. So I don't think there's a spot for either of them. But practically, I would probably play Riza and drop the rest, the lower. Personally, I don't think I'd go with Zondo, to be honest. I wasn't necessarily a big fan of his selection, but I hope that he proves me wrong, of course. Okay. Any final words, Aditya? You good?
Yeah. It's been a pleasure. I'm glad we've been able to do a couple of shows live for you guys. Yeah, and long may it continue. Hopefully, the next live show will be with Khalid coming to Mumbai.
Yeah, hopefully, I'll better fight for that. Guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to smash the like button, comment, share, subscribe, and click that notification bell for all future videos. Also, don't forget to download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. Link is on the screen as well as in the description. And you can also become a patron today to help us promote South African cricket. Also, go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for your regular updates. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks a lot for watching. We've got a reservation tonight for supper. He doesn't know where we're going yet. I'll probably tell him we're going to Ponchos.
Where's that?
That's in Observatory. It's a Mexican place.
Oh, yeah.
So they sell like various type of burritos and nachos and all of these type of stuff. So
Cool.
there's going to be plenty of options for you over there. So guys, thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll see you guys very, 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 very soon. Sunday evening for the Sunday podcast. Take care, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your week.
Which I'll probably do with my man from Mumbai.
Peace.